Randy Rabney of The Conscious Plate, and I'm a coach, a chef, and an expert at teaching people how to eat real food and enjoy the freedom of eating it without worrying about getting fat. And this is how to make a healthy lunch with fresh spinach. Today I'm going to show you how to make tostadas topped with refried beans, cheddar cheese, fresh spinach, sauteed onions, and melted tomatoes. And then we're going to top that all off with some creamy avocado seasoned with sea salt and a little bit of fresh lime juice. So the first thing we're going to do to get started is we're going to take our corn tortillas and we're going to put them in the oven to toast them. They're going to get crispy like a chip. I've preheated my oven to 450 degrees and I'm using organic corn tortillas. Please pay attention to the ingredients when you select your tortillas because many tortillas have extra ingredients to prolong the shelf life. They should simply have organic corn, lime, and a little bit of salt. So I'm putting these tortillas right on my sheet pan and I'm just going to pop it into my preheated 450 oven. And this should take about 5 minutes to get crispy. Next, I'm going to get ready to saute our vegetables. So I'm heating my pan and I'm just going to let that get warm. And to that, I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. To the extra virgin olive oil, I'm adding some thinly sliced onion. And that's maybe about a half of a small onion. And I'm making 2 tostadas today, which is a generous lunch portion for a hungry adult. So now I'm going to let these onions begin to cook. And it's up to you if you want to brown them. It's fine to brown them, but you don't have to. But it is important to get the raw flavor out. You want them to start to get just a little bit sweet and not taste like raw onions, so you want to let them soften. I'm going to add a little pinch of sea salt. I'm using an unrefined sea salt, and I like to season every layer of the food, but I don't like to use too much because remember, you could always add more later, but you can't take it out. So the next thing that I'm going to add is our spinach, and it's really going to look like a good amount of spinach. I have a couple of really big handfuls here, but the thing about spinach is that it has a tendency to shrink. So it's going to look like so much when I put it in the pan, and then when it's cooked, we're going to say, what happened to our spinach? It looks like we really don't have very much of it at all. So now I'm adding the spinach, and spinach has a tendency to be very bland. So again, I'm going to take another little pinch of the sea salt. Just going to give it a good toss, which have been cut into quarters. Just a small amount of sea salt on the tomatoes, and we're just going to let our tomatoes melt ever so slightly. Look at that beautiful color. Beautiful color, flavor, texture, full of nourishment for our bodies. Our vegetables are done. So now we're going to check on our tortillas. I'm taking them out and we're going to begin to build our tostadas, which we'll put back in the oven to warm our beans through and to melt the cheese. So now we're going to begin to layer our tostada, and for our first layer I'm using refried beans. Now you can make your own refried beans or you can buy them in a can. If you do decide to buy them in a can, please look for an organic refried bean that's in a can that's not lined with BPA. It's an important health concern. I'm just spreading these creamy beans right on top of this crispy chip. And it's such a great textural contrast. And I've actually chosen to use beans that have some green chilies in them. It's not necessary. They're not spicy. They just give good flavor. So if you like that, you can look for that. If not, any refried bean will work fine. And then we're going to top this with some cheese, and I'm using a raw organic cheddar. And you don't really need a lot of cheese here because the creaminess of the beans gives you enough of that mouthfeel. The cheese is just adding some extra flavor. So a little bit of cheese, and then we're going to put this back in the oven to warm the beans through and to allow the cheese to melt. So while the beans are warming and our cheese is melting, we're going to make the top layer of our tostada. So I'm scooping out the avocado and I'm putting it into this bowl. Take the other half. I need to remove the pit. It's very loose. It's coming out easily. Take the rest of the flesh from this avocado. And I'm not making a full out guacamole here. I'm just mashing up this avocado simply and quickly with a little fresh lime juice and a pinch of unrefined sea salt. And then I'm just going to take my fork and I'm going to mash it. And by the time this is ready, Our beans and cheese should be ready as well, and we should be able to take our tostadas out of the oven and put the final layers on and get ready to taste. So now I'm going to take our tostadas out of the oven. The beans are warm and the cheese is melted. So now we're going to build the rest of our tostadas. We have our melted cheese and beans on our crispy chip like tortillas, and we're going to add our wilted spinach, onions, and melted tomatoes. Look at how beautiful that looks. It's going to have great texture, great flavor, and we're just going to top that off with the final layer, which is our delicious mashed avocado. And there you have it, tostadas with refried beans, cheddar cheese, spinach, tomato, onion, and mashed avocado. I'm Randy Rabney of The Conscious Plate, and this is how you make a healthy lunch with fresh spinach.